What's up, guys? Welcome back to So Many Parks So Little Time, or as I like to call it, Shimaru Petobataru Sarutepu. So, today we are at Greenland. This is the southernmost park on our Epic Japan trip, and this is actually a huge park. They're home to 9 to 10 roller coasters depending on how you count Milky Way, and even though there's no real major roller coaster here, I mean, it still has a really fun lineup. You have Gao, which is this really big famous jet roller coaster that goes over the back of a stegosaurus. You also have this dueling racing coaster called Milky Way, where one side is a stand-up side and the other is a sit-down side. You have a classic Vekoma suspended roller coaster. You got a spinning wild mouse, 2 powered roller coasters, one of which is indoors, and there's an SLC, but we'll get to that later. This is just a massive park. And while we are here for the credits, I mean, some of the parks on this trip have been huge surprises. So yeah, we're going to take a look around, check out all the rides. Coming in, this park actually looks quite beautiful. There is a reason why it's called Greenland. So with that said, let's go check out Greenland. Oh yeah.
Parking gate right here. That you've got to be a gate.
And I love the wheels over here. They do, but they have them in the. I know from the other gate they do. So they.
Hi guys! Dude, Gao is freaking weird. Now this is obviously a jet coaster, shallow drops, straight track, basic curves, you know the drill. But this thing is massive. The first drop on this thing is ridiculous. It's got a shallower drop than the lift hill. But because of that, you take that drop forever. You just keep on going faster and faster. And then these hills, they're not shallow hills. As you traverse the terrain, you definitely pick up speed at many, many different points in the ride. As such, it was actually a lot of fun. You go really, really fast on this thing. And then of course, going up the dinosaur, that was a really, really cool visual, both on ride and off ride. So yeah, just a completely wacky roller coaster, but I love it. Great.
Aero trains on the dump track. Yeah, it's a really kind of cool thing. That's in Greenland.
So, Grampus Jet was fun. If you don't know, it is the same layout as Dreamcatcher at Bobby on Land. Just like Bobby on Land, it's really not that intense of a layout. It's very, very family friendly. Light on the forces, some mild swinging though. But this one, unlike Dreamcatcher, has the aerodynamics trains. So they're these big boxy ones, similar to the ones on Ninja or Iron Dragon. And you know what? I'm a sucker for suspended roller coasters. I love them. And Grampus Jet is no different. Really fun suspended roller coaster, even though it's not the most intense. It looks fresh. It must be new.
Yeah. Ah, darn it, we broke the rule of riding something. Oh, I've taken the least footage of like anyone on this trip.
No, we didn't.
It's just never been who I am. I respect it.
Oh, dude, Milky Way was a great surprise. Now, this is a Togo dueling racing roller coaster, but what makes this ride unique is that on one side, you're in a sit-down configuration, but on the other side, you're in a stand-up configuration, and you both traverse the course at the same time. Now, both sides are running, but they can run independently of each other, so the blue side might run or the red side might run, but if there are lineups for both sides, then you can definitely see both rides running. And they're awesome! This is probably the smoothest extreme Togo coaster that we've done so far. Extreme being relative, it actually doesn't go upside down. But you actually get some really strong airtime on this, especially on the stand-up side. And unlike the stand-up coasters that were built in the US, these are totally comfortable. I had no problems on either one of them. There were a couple relatively uncomfortable jolts, but as a whole, it was completely fine and really, really rideable. Love this thing. We just rode the Sphinx roller coaster, and that might just be one of the most pointless roller coasters I've ever ridden. But it was kind of hilariously pointless. The ride did nothing, it just kind of traversed this hillside. No forces whatsoever, it was just basically a glorified monorail. But there was this little girl that just kept on getting laps over and over on this thing. She was having the time of her life. And that's when I remember that every roller coaster is somebody's favorite roller coaster. So even the kind of pointless roller coasters, they have value. And just seeing the smile on that little girl's face just kind of reminds you of that. Reminds you, don't take this hobby that seriously. So this park used to be home to a shuttle loop roller coaster, and the coaster is gone, but they decided to leave the loop here. Super weird, but at least they dressed it up and made it look pretty good. Good gravy, this park is absolutely gorgeous. spin mouse was a pretty typical, very enjoyable Rebershan spinning wild mouse. It got some pretty decent spins, but nowhere near as crazy as we got at Yokohama Cosmo World. At least we did get on this one since the one at Hitakata Park was closed, but since we did get on 2 of these this trip, it makes missing the one at Hitakata Park really not that big a deal. Fun sort of a tertiary level coaster here. Guys, I think I found dueling dragons.
Right now.
Okay.
Should hit the 100 here. And obviously.
Just you wait. Oh boy. Now this feels good. Once we go through that door, that's when it's gonna hurt. Height, no running. Oh dear. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, yes. Holy mackerel. Yes. My body is just gonna become a block of ice.
Oh my god. My face still got a wait.
Yeah. Okay, this actually does feel pretty good. Woo!
Yes! Oh god, my nostrils are already freezing. It's like legit.
I am completely covered in sweat, so I would not be surprised if I'm just an ice cube after this is over. But oh my goodness, this is unlike the Parque España one. I actually feel good right now. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I have found the penguins. Okay, I'm back into the blazing heat. Uh-oh. Okay. This is gonna suck. Oh.
I can't see anything.
Successful ice house, but I currently can't see a thing.
And it's just rain.
Yep. So, Black Hole Coaster was kind of interesting. It reminds me a lot of the indoor power coaster at Nassau Highland, and even though this seemed like the bigger ride, I don't know, for some reason I like the one at Nassau Highland a bit better. I think because that one, even though the sets were simpler, they were bigger and grander. And then that one had a really good dynamic of going from indoor to outdoor back to indoor. This one just kind of stays on the inside. However, what really makes the one at Nassau better is the very end of the ride. This one just slams to a stop in the brakes. It actually smashed my knees pretty badly. So yeah, not the best indoor powered coaster in Japan, but still a fun ride nonetheless. code NEO, and if I don't post any off-ride footage of this coaster, it's because nobody's riding this thing. It's kind of tucked in this corner back here, so not a lot of people seem to be heading towards it. And also it's an SLC, so you know they don't have the best reputation of being smooth rides. Though ironically, this is one of the smoother SLCs that I've been on. Yeah, it's a shaky, jolty, kind of crappy ride. Definitely a 4 out of 10 at best, but it's still konnichiwa, but it's still heaps and loads better than some of the other SLCs that I've been on, including F2 Fright Flight, and towers way above the likes of like Flight Deck or something. So yeah, not a terrible, disgusting, irredeemable coaster, but it's also an SLC. Going to ride it, but it's weird that the splash boat here has a completely covered boat, so looks like you actually don't get wet on this thing. It sounds dreadful on a hot day like today. So I'm on this chairlift and there is no restraint whatsoever. With the rolling clouds up there and a dragon and the greenery, it almost looks like an anime from down here. See the sea from up here, and oh man, that breeze is fantastic. This country, Japan so much. This is beautiful. Apparently this is the horror tower? Oh dude. This is sick. Dude, this park is just gorgeous. I love finding parks like these, parks that I have 0 to low expectations for, and then you just come here and just have an amazing time. I love it. So I went on the log flume just to cool off because it is once again a really hot day here in Japan, and that is exactly what I wanted from here to Kata Park. In the road that I was sitting in, you just get a wall of water to the face, just to face the upper body, and so you don't get your shoes destroyed. Exactly what I want. Perfect, no notes. And I also did there's a sort of shooting dark ride behind this ride here. It's very similar to the one that was at Parque España as well as Suzuka Circuit. This one, it's kind of an in-between the two. Not nearly as good as the one at Parque España, but much better than the one at Suzuka Circuit. It's these just circular dark rides. They're really, really good. I actually really like them. So I did this dark ride here, and I actually kind of liked it. It was a very, very classic style dark ride, but it was pretty dark. I couldn't understand the story, but it seemed like a lot of people died. It's really cool. They give you these headphones to wear, and then they match up pretty well with the visuals. The audio is in stereo, and despite the cheap-looking headphones, the audio is pretty darn good. And then there are, of course, some classic jump scares. Nothing too terrifying, but enough to get it kind of spooky, so it sets the mood. So I did this weird Togo spinning thingy, and boy is it a weird Togo spinning thingy. The best way I can describe it is it's sort of like an Enterprise, except randomly the brakes will kick in and just sort of lock you in position. And then the way the ride swings, it's kind of like a suspended roller coaster. Kind of like a happy marriage between the two. Such a weird ride, but the weird thing is, as crazy as it looks, it doesn't feel as crazy on ride. I heard that like one of the more insane ones was at like either Nasu Highland or Hamanako Pal Pal, but even so, this was my first time riding one of these types of ride, and I really, really enjoyed it. Oh man, if you thought that first chairlift was sketchy, I'm basically sitting on nothing right now. was Greenland, and as you can tell, we are not in the park right now. That's because we did some transportation calculations and we found that if we left the park within 5 minutes of finding out that we needed to leave the park, then we can actually catch this bus and train system with the least amount of connections and the least amount of hassle. So we're on our way back to the hotel. But holy cow, we had an awesome day here today. I was totally not expecting to like this park as much as I did. The roller coasters, they're fine. Actually, they're pretty good. But the sheer number of rides at this park is what makes it so special. There's so many things to do. You got dark rides, you got flat rides, you got ice houses, you have 2 chairlifts. And then probably the thing I love the most about this park is that it is gorgeous. There is a reason why they call it Greenland. The park looks absolutely stunning. As you can tell from the video, there are multiple points where I just pointed the camera at the park and it looks beautiful. As for the coasters, Milky Way was awesome, but I think that Gal was probably my favorite roller coaster. Even though from a forces perspective, it's really not that great. Just the sheer speed, the sheer length of it. It's like the Beast of Steel roller coasters. Really fun roller coasters, but if you come here just for the roller coasters, then it's really not that big a deal. If you take in the entire park, then you're going to have a really good day. The park wasn't quite dead, but we walked onto everything, but there were also just enough people that it was lively. So overall, really enjoyable day. This is the southernmost park of the trip. Starting tomorrow, we're going to be making our way back up north. So more adventures will continue in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.
On the way to Greenland, I shall find